was your name again?
People call me Karp.
Karp?
Karp. Yeah, my last name's Carpenter.
Oh, okay.
Karp.
Gotcha.
My first
So
name's
not because
Mike.
you really like eating carp.
No.
Okay.
Although I've tried it, it's not bad. So.
It's not. No, we tried it once during the pandemic because we're like, let's see.
Yeah.
Just to double check if it was
Yeah,
going to
because if you got to get put in a bunker or something, and all you had was carp, you'd be like, I want to be prepared for this.
Yeah.
You just got to head down to Louisiana and do the noodling. So.
Yeah.
I love watching those videos and guys like, oh, there's the big one. Goes under.
We call that something else here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to All Beer Inside. We're continuing our Syracuse series of interviews, and joining me today is Tim and Sean of Buried Acorn Brewing.
Hi.
Hey,
Hi.
thank you.
How you doing, Mr. Karp?
Good.
You want to talk about noodling?
Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you very much for hosting us today. I really, really appreciate anybody who takes time out of the schedule to speak with us about delicious craft beer. So,
I'd like to preface this whole thing with
yes.
We were just talking about this previous to what we just got into. But so if anybody's curious, you can eat carp. We tried it just in case a couple of years back. And if you need a food source, you can eat carp. Not carp.
Oh, well.
But you
I
could
mean, if it
probably.
comes down to it.
He looks like he might taste a little better than the carp that I ate.
Do they do like raw carp, or you got to cook it?
They call
I've
that
never seen carp sushi.
carp ceviche.
Carp
Carp ceviche.
So you probably marinate it in one of the acidic beers that we have, more acidic beers.
Sure, yeah.
And,
Ghost or carp.
yes, I like it.
I mean, if I don't survive the plane crash of lifestyle and people need to eat me, there's just some extra body hair to get through.
Are you into soccer?
I was. So
You were?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Did you stop playing soccer when you saw that movie?
Yeah. A young kid.
Felt like it was a prerequisite to something that might happen in the future.
You got to be prepared to eat another human being if need be. So.
Do they call soccer football in Canada?
So it's soccer in Canada.
Yeah. Okay.
Having been.
Now I know.
My family being predominantly European, I just call it European football. So.
The more you know.
Yeah.
Sure.
So.
You won't get that either.
And then growing up, I played in a predominantly Italian neighborhood, so it was called football there. So, despite not being Italian. Awesome. You brought me out some beers here to try. What am I having here to start?
Oh, that beer is a Abbey-style blonde beer that we make. It's called 1000 Tiny Michael Jackson's Breakdancing in Your Mouth.
That is a fantastic name. Awesome. As we do, gentlemen, on the show.
Well, all right.
A toast. Toast. Oh, yeah. Classic Belgian. Fantastic. This is a beer that would be very popular in Quebec.
It's pretty easy going.
Yeah.
Sells really well.
Maybe we should start exporting to...
The beer laws are wacky across the border, and each state is different. I understand beer laws, and each province in Canada, we each have different beer laws. So
Same in the States. Every state has something different.
it's a pain in the butt. As a beer drinker who wants to experience all the beers, it's a pain in the butt.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So I remember, in my high school days, that everybody was going wild on ice beer, bringing it down from Canada and whatnot. Did that get popular because it's colder up there?
I wouldn't say no. I don't think so. It's just kind of a name, really.
Gotcha. So do they allow you to make ice bock?
I don't know. I'll be honest. I'm not sure.
Oh.
So it's, I mean, the beer now, like it's the IPA craze right now in Quebec, right? Like there is everywhere else. It's IPAs.
How do you make ice beer?
I'm assuming you almost like a lager. It's just you make it cold.
Put ice in it?
Yeah, maybe. I'm assuming.
They call it cold filtered or something like that?
Yeah.
I think so.
Because
last one I thought
you're a Canadian beer dude. You know how to make ice beer?
I'm a drinker and I'm the pretty face of the show, and that's it. So.
There's a carp on the label too.
Yeah. No, I know there was the ice. There's not Lake Carling ice. That was popular. But yeah, Molson and Labatt and stuff, they never really added the ice label. They just called it dry and cranked up the alcohol to 7%.
That's not bad.
Yeah. And then there was Bredor when I was 18, drinking legally in Quebec, which is nice. There was Bredor, which was like a malt liquor beer, which was popular.
What about the Moose guy? Moose Guy beer.
Moosehead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moosehead.
That's one of the more popular kind of basic Pilsner lagers out there.
Yeah.
So they have a new one.
Moosehead Ice?
There's not Moosehead Ice. They have a variant called Cracked Canoe that is a lager, a Kolsch, so a lagered ale.
I got it. 1,000 tiny Michael Jackson's breakdancing in your mouth on ice.
I was gonna say 1,000 tiny Michael Jackson's breakdancing inside of a moose head.
You probably have more than 1,000 tiny Michael Jacksons. Mooseheads are gigantic.
Life is just a brainstorming
You probably
meeting
do
for both of us.
10,000.
Yeah, at least. I mean,
how tiny the Michael Jacksons
that is true.
Or they could be ice skating in your mouth.
Ooh, but then it wouldn't have a double entendre reference to breakdancing and beer writing.
It's very true.
But we could bring in Brian Boitano into the mix and do a pirouette or a triple saxel.
Dude.
And you have the guys from South
Sign me
Park
up.
sing the theme again. What would Brian Boitano do? I'm not going to say the rest because YouTube will pull us.
Is South Park Canadian?
No, they're from Colorado, so they're close to Canada.
Oh, that's far. It's far enough away.
Yeah.
It's about as close as
Might
you
as
get,
well be
right?
Canada.
Yeah.
I'm closer to.
Because according to South Park, my mouth's supposed to open like this. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Well, Colorado and Canada share a border, right?
Yeah, I believe it's a border state.
Really?
Province, yeah. It's not Alberta. Alberta's Montana.
I would have never known
It's
that.
got to be Saskatchewan, maybe?
Was that social studies, right?
No, that's geography.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
But I'd love to find what is Brian Boitano doing right now. Phil, can you
I'm gonna
Google
say
that,
retired.
man?
I'm gonna say.
Where's Brian Boitano today?
I'm gonna say he probably does audio for the Olympics and ice skating competitions.
You're probably right.
Probably, yeah, play by
What's
play.
that like
type
though? You
guy.
only work every 4 years.
Well, no, because there's the Worlds every year, and then there's like the qualifiers and all that other stuff.
I'm not very sporty.
Now my mother's into ice skating, so I hear all of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we have an expert.
I'm no expert.
Karp knows all about that ice
Karp's
skating.
mom knows more about ice skating, and gets frustrating when Ticketmaster pumps the prices up of everything to go see it. So
Oh, here we go. Speaking of that,
yeah,
Taylor Swift, man.
yeah. $40,000 to go see Taylor Swift.
I don't know.
Who would pay that?
Well,
I'm
that's why
just-
Ticketmaster's going to be sued
I'm just
by
fed up.
a lot of people.
I'm
soon.
really fed up.
Ticketmaster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the heck are you guys talking about? Why are we talking about Taylor Swift?
Yeah. Well, Ticketmaster's.
I saw a picture of you with Taylor Swift. That's
I know. It's not fake at all. That was a real picture.
oh,
Her and I
That's
used
awesome.
to be really good friends.
Ticketmaster's.
I was the one that kind of like pushed her into doing what she does. She's like,
You
I don't
kinda
want to do it, and I'm like, no,
So you're
go for it.
You're the first song of
great.
you're the breakup song.
No, she didn't write any songs about
Oh,
me.
okay.
No.
Because it's usually the breakup song. Like if you watch Family Guy, she dated Chris and then wrote a breakup song about him.
Gotcha.
Then she tried to do a faithful song about him, and the crowd turned on her because it's not broken Taylor Swift. Just like Adele, not the last album, but the album before was all about.
Well, she really
being
didn't
divorced
listen
and
to
stuff.
me, like trying to, push her in the right direction. I got her started.
Yeah.
But then she did the opposite of what I told her to do every time. I was like, you should talk, love songs and everything. Then she's all into breakups and stuff. So I don't know.
that why
Maybe someday
Is that
she'll
why she's got
contact me
that
again.
mansion in Maine now?
What's that?
She's got a mansion in Maine now. Is that why she wants to at least be somewhat close to you?
Oh, she does?
Yeah.
She didn't tell me that.
Oh man, I don't know. Have you texted her recently? Are you getting a new phone? Who dis?
All right, let's talk about something else.
Let's talk about the creation of Buried Acorn. Where's it come from? Why'd you create yourself a brewery?
Oh, yeah. I ask myself that very often. Why the heck did I do this? I liked imported beer,
Okay.
so I tried to make it at home many, many years ago. And then microbreweries kind of came along and started making it here in the States.
Mm-hmm.
I very much got into it on a small scale. My cousin handed me a homebrew he made when he was in college. This was I was living in Chicago. I'm from Syracuse area originally. I was out in Chicago working and living, partying after my touring days with Taylor Swift. And then I tried his homebrew, and I'm like, wow, this is okay. And then I don't know how that happened, but my mommy bought me a Mr. Beer kit.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's here. Well, I don't know where it is today.
Yeah.
But it usually is in the tap room somewhere.
Yeah.
this little tiny barrel, you make like 2 gallons at a time.
Yeah.
You've probably heard this story many times. Everybody says the same thing. Well, my mom bought me a Mr. Beer kit, and that's how I got into beer.
Actually, you're the first in 160 episodes. So.
Yeah, I saw you're up to 155.
It's better than toilet wine.
Congrats on that, man.
Yeah.
So I started with the kit that my mom bought, and it was an Oktoberfest, which is like very difficult to make for someone that never made pasta, let alone a beer. So it was but I made it, and I was like, "Holy crap, this is beer!" You know. And YouTube, can I say crap?
Yep.
All right. So holy crap! How many times? Is there a limit?
No. It's F-bombs and usually S.
Just don't say carp.
Yeah.
Too late.
Yeah.
So, and then I made the second kit that she had bought me, because she bought me 2 packages or whatever to go with the kit. And that one was pale ale, and it was much worse, actually. And then I bought equipment immediately after that, because I was just like so fascinated by it. And honestly, the third beer I make was slam dunk, man. It was fine. It's just a wheat beer, and I followed the directions that were in the 8 books that existed at the time, and did some research, and man, that was it. And then rabbit hole from there. Fast forward a decade, my wife's like, "You got to get this stuff out of here." So I'm like, "Okay, well, I'll just open a brewery."
Yeah.
And originally looked around the Midwest for spaces and towns to move to, and the personal side of things kind of took a 180, whereas a lot of our family had left. Her family.
Okay.
I'm from Syracuse. She was from Chicago, and a lot of her family was off to grad school and life in California. So when we were having a second child, we're like, well, why don't we try to open a brewery in Syracuse? So we came here, looked around, and we were like, let's do it. You know, I have a lot of family here, so that was kind of the decision to do it here. And that's all I got for you, I think. And that's where we get to where we were opened. We opened here in mid 2018.
Okay.
Took us about 2 years after moving here to actually get open. Just different requirements from the municipality to just get the rules in order, the zoning, and and all the variances that we needed to open an industrial facility in an industrial neighborhood.
Would you say the town, at least this section, was very welcoming, or local legislation guys are like, no, we don't need a brewery because we've only heard bad things about drunks?
No, that we didn't get any pushback on that. I think at the time, and even still today, municipalities and counties and cities, they're still really in transition from a very antiquated way of doing things, which was fill out the paper and mail it in, and the guy behind the desk gets to it. Now you can click on something and apply for something, at least to some extent. You know, 6.5 years ago, and we tried to, 7 years ago now that we tried to do this, to start it, was, they were just getting started with digital applications and all that. Either way, it did take us 18 months to get the building permit for this building. So we leased this building for 18 months before we broke ground.
Damn.
And that was an obstacle to get over. And
I can't imagine, because you're paying all this rent and you can't do squat with the building. So,
right, yeah. And
That's usually how it works out.
Yeah.
Especially going to a bank and you try to tell them like, hey, I need money, but I can't operate a business for like a year.
Yeah, I can't
can't
And
pay
they're like,
that
oh yeah,
loan.
we'd love to give you some.
Then they're like, well, do you have a license? Like, no, I can't get a license until I have a lease. Well, you can't, so then you got to get a license, but you have to have a lease to get a license, and then you get a lease.
Yeah.
Then it takes 9 months to get a license from the feds. But then you got a license, so now you can get financing, which takes another X. And then there's a lot of red tape that needs to be, is it red tape? Yeah, whatever, cut, I don't know. We call it red
It
tape.
could be blue tape.
What do you call red tape in Canada?
That's red tape.
Red tape. You have red tape too?
Yeah, we're pretty, there's some different things. Like in Canada, we have universal health care. That's pretty much one difference. And then most Canadians speak both English and French, especially if you live in Quebec like we do. You have to speak French.
So do you have bilingual movies where they go back and forth between French and English?
There was a series called Bun Cop, Bad Cop, and it was in both languages.
Yeah.
So
there are some countries that just have multiple languages going on because everybody speaks 3 languages. And then they have them in the US, and then they just overdub it with the same person doing all the guys in English. All the same woman doing all the women's voices. And it makes for such an entertaining film.
So dubbed Simpsons in Quebec, Bart sounds like, a teenage boy, but Homer, je parle comme ça. So it's not like the Homer that you're used to where it's like, whoopee. Right. It's like super low and like really gurgly voice.
Les dos.
Yeah. Le dos. Hey Bart, c'est quoi ça? So, and I'm sure the person who does the voice is a fantastic actor, and I don't want to crap on him too much, but his voice for Homer is atrocious. So
at that point, that's part of the comedy, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
I never watched like South Park or Simpsons or anything.
Well, South Park, I don't think they have a French dub, at least that I know of. I could be wrong, but Simpsons definitely. I mean, the show's 36 years old now.
Right.
The show's older than a lot of people on this planet.
Yeah. And they're still making shows.
Yeah.
And they're still relevant.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense to me, but it's great.
Yeah. As long as they keep doing the Treehouse of Horror every year, I'm happy. So let's get to beer number 2 here.
Oh, fun. That is Ghoster Blanc.
Okay.
So Ghoster Blanc is a beer that originally is fermented in an open top fermentation tank without any technology attached to it. Like some of our tanks have jackets and insulation and little doodads that control the temperature and such. But this one is just an old dairy tank that has nothing attached to it. We ferment it with Sauvignon Blanc wine yeast in our house mix culture.
Ooh.
It is pretty heavily dry hopped right at the time of fermentation. We are trying to invoke sort of Sauvignon Blanc wine, flavors from a couple of hop compounds that are in really catty hops.
Yeah.
And we also find that in Sauvignon Blanc wine grapes are a lot of the similar compounds that are in hops. And those compounds undergo transformation into much more beautiful aromas than the catty, kind of cat pee. What I mean by catty is cat pee.
Yeah.
Do you have cats in Canada?
Oh, yeah. There's, I live in a neighborhood called Verdun. It used to be, so it's welfare or social assistance, I believe it's called here. It used to be predominantly welfare, but they're gentrifying it. But my rent's still pretty cheap, and now I have craft beer near my house, so I can't complain.
Well, so that's kind of the idea behind this beer, and then it stays in oak for about a year. That is blended back. Some of it makes the cut, some of it gets dumped, but most of it makes the cut. And we do it in bottles and kegs. We sell a lot of it. It's kind of my swan song. I've been making it for 10 years. It's something I've been working on for a long time.
The nose is absolutely beautiful.
I think so.
You're not using a must, right? You're actually...
No, we don't use any grapes in it or anything.
Because we know, like, we're seeing in Quebec the grape must. For certain.
We make one of those.
The Vincent
stuff.
Yeah, we have a beer called Vincent, which is a beer that uses a grape called Vincent from the Finger Lakes in New York State. We do have a lot of grapes growing, a lot of wineries in New York State. So we do make a beer like that, but not this one. This one is just hops and malt and yeast.
All the good stuff.
Flavor. Yeah.
All the good stuff that helps create wonderful adult craft beverages.
Cheers to that.
Toast. Cheers. Toast. This is wonderful. Wow. It's not like punchy in any way. It's nice and incredibly clean and balanced. I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah, we don't necessarily strive for any level of tartness, and if the barrel does get tart, which some do, we'll usually pull it and push it to something else or just drain it. But we like that one quite a bit.
Fantastic. So Sean, you're the head brewer here. What?
That is not true.
Okay.
Tim is the head brewer.
Okay.
And owner.
So you're assistant brewer.
I'm assistant in brewing and doing everything else.
Okay.
I work with inventory and
Sean's technical.
Okay.
Sean's technical, what do you call it?
Title.
Job title is squirrel wrangler. And I'm the funk whisperer.
Yes. And there was also a squirrel running around at the festival.
Yeah, I don't know where he came from.
That's a big squirrel.
He was looking for nuts last time I heard. There weren't any nut beers there though, so he dipped like around 7:45. He's like, I'm out.
Yeah. I mean, that's another thing we've been having in Canada is we're getting albino and black squirrels, which you never had before. And my trucker buddy who does Canada to the Midwest, he's like, no, they literally hop on our trucks. And so I'm like, well, you're illegally transporting raccoons, squirrels across the border.
They're probably stuffed with drugs.
Could be. Although, I mean, weed's legal all across Canada. So it's not that. It's probably cocaine.
Or aspirin.
Yeah. Maybe it's insulin. No, that'd be coming back this way, actually.
That's a good point.
So, could be any drugs, really, because the healthcare systems are two different things in both places.
I'm really enjoying this conversation.
Awesome. So what brought you to Berry Day? Oh, so you started home brewing yourself as well. What got you into craft beer?
It tastes good.
Okay.
I was literally in high school, and I was at Wegmans, and one of my friends bought me a beer, asked me what I wanted. It was a Omegang, and I kind of fell in love with it. So from that point,
I want to see what he has to say.
I didn't know if you want to get a pillow or something.
No, I wanted to see. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's fine.
Just seeing if
it's not being conversationally effervescent.
Oh, you wanted to see if the beer had something to say.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, I mean, it's probably just like, drink me, then pee me out when you're done.
Love that part.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part of drinking beer.
That could be the worst part for me sometimes, is the whole having to urinate way too often. So.
So yeah, drinking craft beer for a very long time. Eventually I realized that I could make it. A friend of mine worked at a homebrew store and kind of set me up with the kit. Fun fact, I've never made a bad beer.
That's good.
Every beer that I've made has won some sort of accolade or medal or something. It's outrageous how awesome my beer is.
That's not a bad thing at all.
No, not really. That's not the case. I've ruined a lot of batches of beer.
And then what brought you here?
I came here one day and Tim never let me leave.
There's nothing wrong with that.
he found a baby foot in the driveway.
Oh.
And he found out that we were sacrificing children to make our beer and decided that's the place for me. So he left his job of 20 years as a Mercedes-Benz mechanic and decided that making beer was his destiny.
That's good. When you're getting the water to balance out from the baby blood, you use that thing from Tank Girl? Or it's like a filter you stab through and it just gets the water out of the blood?
No.
Because we are, what, 70% liquid?
What, the thing in Waterworld where they drink their pee?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
Okay.
You know what? I am really not very familiar with anything pop culture.
Yeah, I'm very pop culture.
Yeah,
So-
no, you were talking about South Park and
Yeah.
I have really no idea.
Well, South Park is fairly new, right? I mean, that just
20
started.
25 years? 20 years? 20 years, yeah.
No.
25.
I don't
something like that.
think so.
Oh, yeah.
It's-
Oh, yeah. They just did a big thing in Colorado. Like, there's that amphitheater where there's the rocks on the side. And they had...
White Rock.
White Rock, yeah.
Yeah.
So they had that.
No, it's Red Rock.
They had Rush play. They had Ween. They tried to get Kanye, but Kanye's still mad at them because they called Kanye gay fish. So Kanye's very upset at the guys.
Well, he
from
even
South
said he was, though.
Oh.
They didn't call him that. He said it on the show.
But he likes fish sticks, so gay fish.
Ooh, yeah.
So,
I mean, that was the premise. He said it.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't
They're
know.
not wrong. I completely agree with Matt Stone and Trey Parker.
America.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Freedom is $1.05, so. More pop culture stuff.
Cheers.
Awesome. Oh, fun times. What's number 3 I got here?
That is a beer called Arctic Kiwi.
Okay.
So one of the things that we focus on here is barrel-aged beer. We make a lot of Pilsners and IPAs as well, but we do have a very large barrel program. Between our farm location down in Newfield and this location here, we have over 200 oak barrels. We have two 1,700 gallon or 55 barrel oak upright foeders, which is basically just a large, I mean, your listeners know, it's just a larger oak barrel. It's just on its side, on its end instead of on its side. And so we do a lot of that. And this beer specifically is a beer that is a blend of our barrels, which ends up in our foeder.
Okay.
So our beers initially, our mixed ferment beers initially go into an open fermentation tank. Then they go into small format, 225 liter oak barrels. And then they go into the large format oak foeder. And then from there, we take the beer and we we aged that specific beer called Arctic Kiwi on kiwis that are grown here in New York State, which is a really interesting fruit. They're tiny little grape-sized kiwis. Taste just like kiwis.
Okay.
You don't have to peel them.
Huh.
They don't have the fur or anything like, you know how kiwis have fur on them?
That's, I've never seen anything like that.
Which is weird because if you're growing, like, if kiwis are grown, in a more tropical environment, you'd think they wouldn't need a fur coat. Whereas here up in New York State, they are completely just naked.
Yeah, they're more like pre-pubescent kiwis.
Right? And
Pretty much north of New York City, you need to put fur on. So.
Yeah. So basically they grow, we get them just from the Binghamton area. It's just the southern part of New York State. They grow there. I know a farmer through Cornell that grows them, and you get them and you just squish them up, put them in a blending tank, and then re-ferment the beer on them. And it's just a lot of fun to be able to use a local kiwi. People are pretty blown away when they find out that kiwis actually grow in New York State. I bet they grow in Canada too, because they grow as far north as Vermont and Maine.
Yeah.
So there's probably areas in Canada where they do grow. It's not a very common fruit, but.
Do you think it's easier to harvest those kiwis if you have tiny hands?
Well, they are tiny kiwis. I would figure you have a small person is the politically correct way to say it. Not a kid, because child labor is illegal, but a small person.
And that's their family.
So, yeah.
As long as they, it's okay as long as they volunteer.
Yeah. Well, my children, they can work here.
Yeah,
I don't have to pay them.
They're your own kids, so whatever they're doing is just that's the room and board when you think about it.
Yeah. During the pandemic, we ran a cannon line with the kids.
Yeah.
5 and 7 years old.
We were at a brewery in Barrie, Ontario called Flying Monkeys, and they had to have their smallest employee crawl up a ladder to move a can that was stuck. So she's almost the size of a child. So it's even though they're legally an adult and stuff.
Everybody has their talents.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's enjoy this beverage.
Cheers.
I lost.
So that one comes off pretty tart compared to, let's say, if you were to taste it next to our Foder beer. It's very sour. Yeah. Probably because they're kiwi, although it's sweet, it adds acid. Yeah. Whereas some fruits don't necessarily add acid, but the kiwis definitely added a lot of citric acid. That's what I kind of get off of it a lot. But
it's not an overpowering tartness. Like, this is something I can sit down in any weather, preferably on your patio, because I'm much more of a patio person and enjoy one of these. So far, all fantastic beers. Guys, as you said, you've never made a bad beer, so.
Do you ever get
it's not in my playbook, man.
You ever do an interview and you're like, oh crap, I can't even swallow this?
Not yet. I know it's going to happen. I know there's going to be one day where I'm just going to be like, and he's going to see my face and he's going to tell me to lie.
Or there's something in there that you're allergic to. You start to
knock on wood. Thankfully, no food allergies. Just nature's trying to murder me. So it's like, I'm a tree. I love everyone except you. So I sneeze a lot and have to rub my eyes and think I have COVID.
Nature is trying to murder us at all times.
Yeah.
In fact, I was leaving the fest on Saturday, and I was dressed in the squirrel costume, and I was getting chased by rabid dogs out through the. Syracuse has a really high population, even though it is an urban, setting. It's a city. We have a lot of coyotes running around the city. Yeah. And at one time, the county actually collared coyotes to hunt rats in the sewers. And we actually...
they give them little scuba suits and everything.
Yeah. But it's pretty common. A lot of big cities in the U.S., when they have rat problems, they employ coyotes, and they collar them with GPS collars, so they know where they are all the times. But they got out of hand because they didn't think to fix them. Yeah. So now so the city is overrun with coyotes. So as I was leaving the Landmark Fest, I was getting chased down the street in my squirrel costume, and I went the wrong way because I parked by Wise Guys and I went the other way because I was obviously intoxicated. So I had to go around the block. It was bad.
So I head back around that circle towards the Soundgarden shop, and
it was bad.
Yeah. No. You got to watch out for nature. I know
it's always trying to kill us.
Right now, where we live in Montreal, there's a massive raccoon problem. So.
They also use those for hot mice.
I'm like, man, what's that noise outside? And I open, and in my composting bin, there's probably a raccoon from like this can to here on, and I'm like, I'm not messing with him. He would kick my ass. So,
What did he have a handgun?
No. Well, guns are not. Guns are kind of frowned upon in Canada.
Yeah.
So
They don't allow those.
you're allowed a gun, but it has to be at a gun range. Like it's a safety thing. We're not.
What about a slingshot?
I could have had a slingshot. Airsoft rifles I can have. Paintball markers, as my nephew gives me crap all the time because for Canada, he's one of the top 5 paintball players in Canada. And he travels all over the world playing paintball, lucky little bastard. But, so...
You have Swiss Army knives? Or
We
is that
do.
like-
How do you guys eat in Canada then? If you don't hunt, you don't have guns,
I
you don't
generally just wrangle a moose with my bare hands. Try and choke him out, but
You're not
sometimes
taking down a
it's-
moose with an
no,
airsoft
it's not
gun.
easy.
Slingshot maybe, but you might have to hit it like 9 times.
Do have a friend who's convinced he could take out a moose with a baseball bat and a steel chair, WWE style. So
It's not very humane though.
no. We do have a pretty good deer population. They're a little easier to take out with a slingshot or
They're
crossbow.
faster.
Crossbow, bow, and arrow are allowed. So
You
Yeah.
you use like nets?
yeah. We actually, since lacrosse is our second national sport, we actually just chuck.
You guys
the
play lacrosse
stick.
in Canada?
It's our number 2
I
sport.
thought it was a Native American sport.
Yeah. Well, the indigenous is very predominant, despite what.
Well, I
we've
guess
done
you're
to it.
American too.
So yeah.
You're not United States of America.
Right.
Canadians, provinces of American.
Yeah. So like one of our favorite breweries is actually an indigenous brewery.
Same continent.
Yeah, because it's North America, South America, but I know a lot of Americans believe it's just all of America. So
Gotcha. And
it's not because you got Mexico to the south of Texas, and
so is
most of
Colorado closer to North America or South America?
I believe North America.
Okay.
Yeah, it's upper North America.
Gotcha.
So,
Like in the Dakota area?
Yeah, I think if the flat earthers are right, and you're to like actually have the flat Earth, Colorado's in line with like New York City, up there. It's just much higher in the air.
I'm learning a lot from this podcast.
Yeah. I try and
hope
keep
you are
myself
too.
informed, especially about pop culture type of stuff. So I watch a lot of TV. I watch a lot of TV and I drink a lot of good beer. So
I hope I've encouraged you to carry around a Swiss Army knife with you.
I used to. I was actually a Boy Scout back in the day.
Yeah.
So I had a good one.
What do they call Boy Scouts in Canada?
We're Boy Scouts.
Are you still the Boy Scouts of America?
No, we're just Boy Scouts.
Boy Scouts of Canada.
Well, I know it's the Canadian Boy Scouting Association, or at least it used to be. Things have changed a lot. So, but yeah, it was Boy Scouts of Canada for like the head office. We were just called the Boy Scouts, and it's the same thing. I think it's like Beavers, Cubs, Scouts.
Why?
I got attacked by a beaver the other day. Did I tell you about that?
Oh, after the Brewfest?
No, at my house.
Oh.
Are you trying to impede on his dam, or?
Well, no, he stole all my bushes.
Oh. Well, he's trying
So
to
I've been hunting for him.
He might be trying to flood you then.
Oh, funny thing. He's got flooded. He got flooded.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Hey, why do Canadians hate Americans so much?
We don't. I generally like most Americans. It's more I think kind of the middle southern-ish areas. Like I love Vermont. I like Maine. I like New Hampshire.
Me too.
I'm a Green Bay Packers fan, so I have to get to the although the Midwest is pretty much Canada when it's like Minnesota and
Do you have a cheese hat?
Swim across
I
Lake
do have a
Superior.
cheese hat.
You do?
My sister bought it for me one year as a Christmas present. So
Is it Canadian cheese or Wisconsin cheese?
no, it's called Foamation. It's made in Green Bay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you could get ties, you could get everything. What's number 4 I got here?
Okay. So, number 4 is a sour IPA called Check, Check, Check. And it's Check, Check, Check. Yep. It's just a dry hop sour, 7.8% ABV. It's
That nose is wonderful.
hoppy, fruity hops, kind of situation going on, and it's pretty popular. We make it only a couple times a year. It's kind of part of our rotating IPA series.
Yeah. Hell of a label too.
Yeah, one of our local artists. We use a lot of local artists to design our cans. We've got 30-something different cans that we've made over the years, and we use pretty much all local artists.
Yeah, a lot of times they don't even know that we use them. We just steal art.
Well, you got to be careful though, because trademarking and all that other crap. Stupid people who want their money.
Yeah, I just Googled a picture of a beer writer Michael Jackson breakdancing, and this came up, and then I just put it on the front of the can.
Yeah.
was like completely unoriginal. I thought of something new, but I didn't.
Yeah.
His logo is actually the original Lagunitas logo.
Right. I just changed the spelling.
Okay.
Right.
This doesn't look like an anagram of Lagunitas, buried acorn. So.
Oh, you have to squint to see it.
Okay.
Yeah. Cross your eyes.
Oh, it's one of those like old school 3D images. See, I never could see those.
Exactly.
I'm eye stupid or something because I never saw the image ever.
I saw one on a Zima bottle.
Oh. Yeah, we.
Oh yeah.
Zima.
Was that before or after you drank the Zima?
Oh, I didn't drink it.
Yeah, Zima's a little bit of a rough drink.
Yeah.
Because it like made a comeback, and I'm like, oh yeah, guys, we got to get together and try
consider
Zima.
that
I'm like, why would I do this
comeback.
to us?
My friend gave me one of them, and I choked it down. And I think the other one's still in my fridge. It's like 10 years old now. So
Yeah, it's
I'm doing a science experiment with it.
Because I mean, like I mentioned, in Canada we're allowed to drink it 19 in most provinces, 18 in Quebec, which is awesome. So we get a lot of Americans who come to Quebec at 18 who are like, I'm going to drink, and then usually stop at a hotel across before the border to like sleep it off and then cross the next day. So I was personally had my first ever beer at 16 that I remember. But I was told like when I was a kid, it was like, ooh, a can of Pepsi, and it was actually Labatt Blue. So
I got a question for you. How do you feel about Taco Bell serving poutine?
I've never seen it.
No?
We only have 2 Taco Bells in Quebec because apparently our food laws will not allow them because the quality of meat that Taco Bell uses is not allowed in our province.
Gotcha.
But whenever I come down to the US, I gorge on Taco Bell, especially the Doritos Taco Bell, because I enjoy food like that. It's we went to Blarney Stone last night, and wow.
Oh, there you go.
That's
place.
some great food.
I'm actually really excited. I heard that there's a new franchise coming down here, restaurant franchise, Toronto Wild Wings. Have you heard of them?
They might be ripping off Buffalo Wild Wings.
I've never heard of them.
Okay. Because there is, we have them in Quebec. They're called Wild Wings. So, yeah, that's what we have in Quebec. Because Quebec is a magical land of francophone and different stuff. So,
I have a question for your listeners.
all right.
So, what do you think about this Karp character?
Oh boy.
What do you think about this guy? Do you think he's a good host? Because I have, what I want to do is I want to collect votes, a petition, to have Canadian Karp replaced with American Timothy Lucian. And just put your comments down here below and smack the like button.
And subscribe.
And let me know if you want Phil here, the producer of the show, to replace Mr. Karp with Mr. Timothy Lucian. Let me know.
Should do a 3-way switch. I'll be behind the camera.
Yeah. Now it would primarily, Phil would have to relocate to American, but it'd probably be better, I think.
Well, he could. But for those who are looking for Buried Acorn, let them know where they can find you.
So you can find us, you guessed it, on the internet. You can find us at 2 locations here in Syracuse. If you're ever down this way, we have 2 tap rooms here. We also have a farm location out in Newfield, New York. We have 1 brewery tap room with food located over by Destiny USA, which is like the 2nd largest mall in America. And then we have 1 over by Syracuse University, which is the 2nd largest university in America. And that's not a brewery, we just have a tap room right there. We just opened it a couple months ago. It's a lot of fun over there. But as far as like where you can find what we're all about, buriedacorn.com is a pretty good spot. It also connects you with all of our different locations. And Facebook, Instagram, hit me up. Let me know how I'm doing as the new host of All Beer Inside podcast. And I'd love to get your feedback.
You'll have to do it next week, though, because we got to wrap up with friends in the area, Willow Rock. So, but then you can take over after that.
Oh, I'm going to Willow Rock with you.
Yeah.
No, we already have the interview set up with them.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
We already.
You guys are staying here.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're taking over.
Yeah, have a beer.
Okay, so I'm just gonna.
You didn't drink? Drink another beer.
Yeah, so what's the last beer I got here?
Okay, so like I said, we do a lot of oak aging. It's kind of where the buried acorn name comes from. This beer is an imperial stout, aged on vanilla. It's aged in bourbon barrels for a year from Heaven Hill Distillery, and it's very strong. It's 17.5% alcohol, so it's a lot.
Boy.
So drink this and then go interview at the Willow Rocks.
Yeah, I'll have to make sure I'm not over the legal limit. So legal limit in the state of New York is 0.08? Like,
unless you're going to another brewery. If you're going from brewery to brewery, that doesn't matter.
Okay, cool.
But,
we'll give you a pass.
Yeah.
We'll write it down.
Thank you.
This guy, okay.
Yeah.
So is it the local Syracuse cops got to deal with, or state troopers?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah. And coyotes.
Sheriffs, too.
Oh,
There's sheriffs, there's county cops, there's all kinds of cops, town cops. But as long as you are going to another brewery, there is no legal limit.
Okay, cool.
But, so yeah, man, it's real sweet. It's real viscous, big, chewy beer.
The nose is
the vanilla. Vanilla on the nose is Madagascar vanilla beans. And then, you get a fair amount of barrel structure and kind of like charred oak barrel flavors. But all right, well,
cheers.
All right, cheers.
A toast.
So
It's best to take a taste and then enjoy it and then slam the rest.
no.
Holy crap. At 17%.
17.8.
It does not taste like it's a 17.8. This can be very, very dangerous.
Well, it's very, very sweet.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we kind of did with this beer is to make it such a big, super, super rich, thick wort that is pretty unfermentable, let's say. It only ferments down to like 13 Plato. So it finishes super, super sweet.
Yeah.
And it kind of like allows it to just kind of give support to the alcohol, that's in there. Like, there's a lot of port wine that's 20, 30, 20 something percent ABV. It doesn't necessarily taste that way because it's super fortified. So this is kind of like our answer to a fortified wine. It's not, we don't sweeten it, but it ends very, very sweet. So it kind of allows the, but it'll creep up on you. It started hitting me. I had half a glass already.
Yeah.
So.
That's a share beer. That's something where I would get together with guys and we would share.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna put that in cans next year. We did it in bottles the first year, but we're gonna move it to cans just by market demand. The market really does want cans.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. No, cans are. I love using cans.
Yeah. I love bottles.
so
I like
much
the
easier.
presentation of the bottle. I'm old school.
Yeah. See, to me, like cans are. I go to the beach and I drink a couple of cans.
Drink a 17.
Drink a 17%
Oh yeah, I would definitely
bottle.
bring. This is a beach beer. Yeah.
I just gotta make sure some kid doesn't like be like ooh and step on it and shatter their foot and then I get in trouble because I'm drinking at the beach.
Well, that's why
Laws and responsibilities of adulting.
you leave the sharps at home when you go to the beach.
Yeah, for sure. And have a designated driver for sure. So awesome, guys. Thanks a lot for today.
Oh, for
really
sure.
appreciate
Thanks
this.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out.
I know I'll be back in the Syracuse area at some point, and I'll be coming here and just hanging out and drinking.
Cool, man. And thanks for the new gig. I mean,
yeah,
it's nice that I'm going to be taking over the podcast.
Just to let you know, I don't get paid for this. So
Yeah, but you know what? You get universal health care.
what's that?
You get universal health care.
That's true.
Yeah.
You can come become a Canadian citizen. You want to
And-
trade passports?
and hair
If you got your
care.
passport, we can trade passports. We'll just cut the image out, like FBI.
No, I don't have a
style.
passport. Americans don't leave the USA. Why would you want to leave?
Yeah.
What, to go to Canada?
Well, traveling's fun though. I do like visiting places. So, although I've never
Because you're
left.
Canadian.
I've never left North America. So, allbeerinside.com is the website. At allbeerinside on all social media. And as I say at the end of all episodes, drink craft, not crap.